Hello, and thank you for joining us back at our BNI San Diego podcast. I'm really excited today. I have a longtime friend and one of our amazing longtime BNI members, Matt Gardner.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I am so glad to be here. I've been wanting to get on your podcast forever. You kept telling me no. You're really going to ruin our brand, Matt. And now I'm here. I snuck in through a favor with a friend, and now I forced you to accept me. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, Matt. So for all of our listeners that are watching via YouTube,
Yes.
you got to share with me right behind you.
Oh
You've
yeah.
got two surfboards, right? For San Diego. You're in San Diego. But then you got a sea of cereal boxes. Why cereal boxes?
So I have my own podcast. I should say I have had my own podcast. I still have it, and I intend to do it again. I've been a couple years out of recording now, but I have a podcast called The Serial Entrepreneur. I love all things business. I am an entrepreneur. I've got several businesses myself, and I love puns and dad jokes. So I call this podcast The Serial Entrepreneur, where I would literally eat different types of cereals. That's what these are here for. These are all cereals that I ate during the podcast, and I rated them and talked about them and went over the pros and cons. And then we went on to unique and fun new business ideas. So that is an homage to the background that I used to and still will have. Or maybe I'll redo it or something when I relaunch the podcast again. It's still out there. You can still look it up and hear the old episodes. They're a lot of fun. They're really great.
We'll put the link for that in the show notes.
Perfect. Thank you. My co-host was another BNI member, Olga Corchiga. She was great to have as well. So a couple of business pros talking out new business ideas. It was a lot of fun, and I think you might enjoy it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you today, and I'm excited about our topic. We're actually talking about outside networking activities, right?
Yes.
We do a lot of networking in BNI, but it's also important to make sure that we're doing networking outside of BNI or outside of our direct chapter, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And I know from Matt, as long as I've known you, you are the quintessential networker. You're always out building relationships.
I love it.
In all different facets, from business to personal to, whether it's a church environment or a governmental environment. I mean, you're all over the place. So, I'm excited about this topic.
Just like my variety of cereal, I love the variety of networking, the spices of life, if you will, and I try to cover it all. Against Ivan Miser's advice of sticking to one thing, I try to do it all, and I love it that way. So,
well, on the networking side, I think it is good to have that variety.
It is, yeah,
because that's where you're also meeting other people in different genres. It's good to have the different elements of networking. So let's get into it. Let's talk about, first and foremost, when someone says, "Hey, I'm going to a networking event or a social event or a mixer," what does that mean? What's a networking event?
Oh my gosh, this is such a good question, and it's so broad, and it can be defined in so many different ways. There are events that people put on a regular basis, and if you do a Google search once or even talk about it when Instagram is around, you will get inundated with ads for networking events in San Diego.
Oh wow! Or wherever you're listening right now, just do it in your own community. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're all over. So you can go to literal networking events that are built for the purpose of people meeting other people, typically for business reasons. All right. Okay. Typically, a lot of those you got to be careful of because they're aimed at just selling you on one particular thing, and they have a networking event so they can sell you on their investment property or their whatever timeshare. So there's lots of reasons people hold them. So you have to be a little bit wise and maybe do some trial and error around networking events. But they're all over the place, and the opportunities are not just around things that are labeled networking events. There are lots of things in life that are natural networking events for you that you can attend, that you can meet people at, that you can get new business and new referrals for your chapter at all sorts of events. And that's what we're here to talk about today. I've stumbled into a lot of these. I've got a lot of good advice and experience here. And so ready to hit the ground running.
It's funny, as you were talking, it made me giggle when you talked about the various there's all kinds of networking environments. It just made me think I'm Hispanic, if you didn't know that. And we have a very large family. So whenever we have like
Yes.
extended family and whatnot, and so whenever we have a family event, it's a
Right.
networking event, right?
I
Because
bet.
like people
It's like a
all over the place
convention.
talking to. Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
awesome.
I'm
So
half Mexican, so I know halfway is at least what that's like. Yes.
yeah, in essence, I grew up networking. I didn't even realize that until just now. That's awesome.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's funny because one of the things that you mentioned, and you even gave some caution to it. Dr. Meisner talks about many years ago. He was doing an event for a local chamber when BNI Global was housed, or our old BNI Global was housed in Upland, California. It is now in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hmm.
And he was doing an event for the local chamber. And there were a couple hundred people in the room, and he was speaking, and he asked the room, but by a show of hands, how many people this morning came to this quote unquote mixer networking event with the intent of selling something? And like 3/4 of the room raised their hand.
Right.
And
Right.
then he said, okay, that's great. And then he asked the question, okay, guys, when you woke up this morning, got out of bed and were getting ready for this event,
Hmm.
how many of you were coming to this event with the intention of buying something?
Hmm.
Not one person raised their hand,
Wow.
right? And
It should have been at least a quarter, right?
he refers to it as the networking disconnect,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because you said it just a few minutes ago. You've got to be cautious because at some of these events, it's all about selling yourself, selling your product. I'm in front of people, that hard sale, versus what we do really well in BNI, which is building relationships.
Yes. Yes. Well, I don't want to sort of poo-poo on the idea of the Witham factor.
Yeah,
Everybody has
correct.
the
Yeah,
what's in it for
absolutely.
me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we are going to BNI because we want to grow our business. We're going to
Right.
these networking events because we also want to get more sales. We want to get more client interactions or potential, networking growth for the benefit of ourselves and the future of our business. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that should be shamed at all. However, I think the best way to attain that is to have that giver's gain mentality that has made BNI such a success and has made each individual chapter be such a powerhouse when it comes to interpersonal networking.
Yeah, it's right. We talk about, we're always talking about when you go somewhere, go with the mindset of show up to give,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Which means
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going with the mindset of going to sell, but it's I
Mm-hmm.
and we all know, right? The best way to network, the best way to build relationships is to build relationships. You go with the intent of who am I going to meet today? Who
Yeah.
who, who can I help today?
Mm-hmm. And that is hard for some people. Some people are natural introverts. They're trying to break out of that shell. That is hard for them to just go to a networking event with the pure intention of I just want to meet people
Yeah.
and grow my network and my relationships and find those really good partnerships maybe that is mutually beneficial or what have you. And that can be trying, that can be difficult. But everything starts with that first step. Everything starts with just showing up, like we say in BNI.
Yeah, everything starts with showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And what are some you with all the networking that you've done in the community, what are some suggestions? Let's take just a brief moment and focus on that quote unquote new BNI member or new business owner that has never done networking before. And it's uncomfortable and like you and let's face it, we've all seen them, right? You go to a networking event and they're, standing over by the wall and not necessarily kind of talking to anyone. You could almost see the fear in their eyes, right?
Oh, it's so hard. Yeah. And so my first tip, okay, is the buddy system, right?
Ooh.
You don't go diving alone. It's better if you go surfing with other people. The buddy system is really effective even for networking.
Or
Now,
even eating cereal with someone.
eating cereal with somebody is always better. You might drown in milk, and so you got to be careful. And you might drown in some very aggressive salespeople if you don't have the buddy system
Yeah.
in networking. So now we have the advantage. We're in BNI chapters. We're in a chapter with 10, 20, 30, 50, 70 people that also have the intention of networking. And so you grab your best buddy, grab a couple people, get a whole posse together and sign up for some of the.
We call that a networking one-to-one, or I'm sorry, not a networking one-to-one, a walking one-to-one.
A walking one-to-one, or almost a walking power team, if you want to really step up good. You can get together your whole power team and say, hey, we're the real estate power team. There's this real estate networking event. It's going to be really great. There's going to be people that we want to meet here. Let's all go together, because it is so much harder when you go to a networking event where you don't know anybody. All right. Or maybe one person invited you, but they're running the show and they're really busy and they can't spend time with you and introduce you to all these people. And here you are poking around. And even me, I'm an extrovert, right? I love meeting people. I have no problem talking to somebody in a grocery line. But even I will go to some chamber meeting or some CRA event, and I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
And it is hard to just put yourself out there, or just, you start a conversation, you feel awkward. People can tell. A lot of people like to form cliques, and it's hard to let you in. The buddy system can work wonders against that.
No, I love that idea, right? Because and you have the ability to kind of walk together and talk and bring other people into that conversation.
Absolutely. Get welcoming with it. Yeah. So I've been really fortunate. I've got some really good networking partners, buddies, for instance. Most of them are in my chapter. There's a few that I've met through my networking interactions that have just become really solid networking buddies outside of it as well. And I tend to, just about every event now, I'm calling up friends. I even have a spreadsheet of people I invite to stuff. That's literally what it's called on the spreadsheet title. And
okay, people, you're learning some strategies here on networking.
Yes. Yeah. Get organized with it, right? Get organized with who your buddy system people are going to be, who you're going to invite to what types of meetings. And anytime you have a meeting, you do a blast text or email, or you start calling some friends, say, hey, I'm going to this. You want to come with me? There's going to be these people here. It's going to be really great. I think you're going to really benefit. If they have a similar mindset to you, they're going to say, yeah, I'm going to drop my heart surgery and go to this networking event with you. This will be great. Or some, golf tournament or something like that. And you go there with a posse. Okay. You go there with a group of people. Now suddenly you're the man in charge, or you're the woman in charge. Yeah. And you come in with a presence. You come in with a bunch of people, and now you're inviting people into your circle. And you carry a lot of weight and influence, or at least the appearance of that. You're going to have some really wonderful interactions. You're going to have people wanting to talk to you.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Now keep that circle open. We've learned this. This is all stuff I've learned in BNI, and I've taken it out in the world.
Networking Like a Pro, one of Dr. Meiser's fantastic books.
Exactly. Don't close your circle. Keep it like a semicircle. Keep that crescent going, and just suck people in, right? To the benefit of everybody. I'm being a little sharky with it, but to the benefit of everybody, invite people in, get your networking group going, moving around the room, meeting people, talking in the food line. A lot of times there's food associated with these things. And you're going to have a great time. You're going to have like a blast. You're going to have a lot of fun. Just some examples. Okay. So, I'm in a group called the Lincoln Club. It's a political group. Not everyone might agree with it, but it's truly a pro-business political group, right? Some people don't like politics. That's fine, but it can be really great networking if you are okay with the political landscapes. And so we'll go to, let's say, a fundraiser. Okay, some politicians holding a fundraiser. Fundraisers are some of the best networking opportunities. I will tell you this right now. This is the secret sauce. You go to a fundraiser for some politician, you could care less about this person. Just wear a smile, go to a fundraiser, bring a few of your networking buddies, and you're going to meet people that think that you are on their side, that you're linking arms against, around this politician who's going to save the world. And suddenly they can't throw their money fast enough at you. They can't talk more about your mortgage program or more about your acupuncture services. They're like, oh my gosh, that would be great. You're the person I have to go to because we're here together at this fundraiser and we really care about this. And you could care less about it. You just came to a fundraiser to meet people. Even if there's a cost associated with that, oftentimes you recoup that cost with the people that you meet. Fundraisers are amazing networking events. And it could be for anything, not just a politician. It could be, for a nonprofit organization. It could be for some good cause, or, like a school event, or a school organization. Lots of great fundraisers out there. You could probably go to one every single day of the year if you really tried.
Well, And you mentioned nonprofits. That's a big one for us. That's a big one for on my heart. My goal is to have a nonprofit in every one of our chapters. And if we get involved in those nonprofits, there's also, like you said, fundraisers or golf tournaments or, things that are, networking opportunities. If there's more than a handful of people in a room, that's a networking opportunity, right?
Absolutely. I'm a member of my local town council, the Mission Beach Town Council.
Yeah.
I'm a board back. That's amazing networking opportunities. I've gotten several clients out of my local town council, and there's town councils and planning boards, all sorts of municipal type networking groups, if you will. There's the obvious Rotary clubs. There's the political groups. There's actual business groups like the California Restaurant Association. I'm a member of that, and it's an excellent one. If you want to market to restaurants specifically, you join the CRA, you're going to be surrounded by some of the biggest restaurant owners in the county.
And that could be a good thing, right? We talk about your target markets in BNI, right? Who's your ideal clients or those businesses, and think about what associations. If you look at your target market, what associations would your target market be a part of?
Right.
And then seek out those associations to do some networking at. So I have a question for you, Matt. When you go to a networking event, do you have kind of an agenda or a thought process on something you'd like to accomplish during that event?
Absolutely. I absolutely do. So organization really is key to maximizing the effectiveness around your extra networking activities. Okay. You want to organize what you're going to go to. You want to organize who's going to go with you. And you want to organize what you're going to do when you get there, right? Ahead of time, that needs to be planned. Okay. And it needs to feel natural too. You go up, you talk to people. It sounds great. You collect business cards. You hand out business cards. You talk about specific services that you naturally work into the conversation. Oh yeah, you've got this great business. I have another business myself. I've got these credit card terminals I really love. What kind of terminals do you use? Oh, cool. Because I'm in merchant services. So I'm going to start talking about credit card terminals. Naturally, it's going to come up. Naturally, we're going to talk about it. And then naturally, they're going to say, oh yeah, that is pretty good. Maybe we should talk about your services there with merchant services. And we could look at a new point of sale system for my restaurant or whatever. And so defining these strategies, though, is key to really maximizing your effectiveness. And I've spent a lot of time just stumbling through it and figuring it out as I go because I'm not a great planner or a header. And I've established some good best practices for these. And so, and it's very specific to my business and my outreach efforts and the way I like to work. Everybody is different. But if you organize it and use spreadsheets or you use a good CRM and you clearly define what you're going to do when you get there and how you're going to follow up with people, because no one's going to sign a contract.
Oh, wait. Did you just use the word follow up? You mean
follow up? Yeah.
You go to an event and you talk to these people and you may grab a handful of cards and then I'm supposed to follow up with them?
Absolutely. Yeah. Following up is like going to church. Everybody knows it's good for you and nobody wants to do it. And then when you finally do it, you feel so great that you did it. And you wonder why you didn't do it again for 6 months. So absolutely, follow-up is key. No one's going to sign your contract at the golf tournament. You're not going to actually cut somebody's hair on the fives green. You need to follow up. It's a must-have. Just in general business practices, but especially for your networking events. And that's why organization is key. That's why I have spreadsheets. That's why I use HubSpot for my CRM. I collect business cards and I have a system for my business cards. Some people like to poo-poo on business cards. I think they're great. I still love them. I use them. But now they have these digital business cards where you tap your phone. Those are cool too. Whatever it is, though, you need to have a plan.
So I think there, and I love this topic, right? Having a plan, coming in with not so much an agenda, but rather a plan. Because an agenda is I want to get my stuff out there versus, hey, I want to meet some new people. And now I'm going to organize how I go about doing follow-up and all that. So
agenda can be good too. Like my agenda is I want to meet people and I want to interact with them for several different reasons. A is maybe getting new business. B is finding new referral partners. C is finding any services that I might need as well, paying it forward. And having a plan for each type of agenda that you have when you meet people and clearly defining the kind of interactions you don't want to follow through with in these types of of meetings as well. I really don't connect well with real estate professionals. So I might have a nice conversation with somebody, and I'm not going to be rude or anything, but I'm going to really try to steer towards people that are not in the real estate industry, for instance, right? It's not a real example, but just a for instance.
Well, yeah, because you've got to know who your people are that you want to be able to connect with.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. On the flip side of that, so we now talked about what to do when you go networking and really having a game plan. I do want to suggest something you don't do. And Matt, you may have seen this, you may have been this person. I know that at one point I was this person. I refer to them, or to me, as in this role, as being the networking blackjack player or blackjack dealer. So I'd come in, I'd walk into a networking event with a stack of business cards.
Yes.
And my goal was to start handing out business cards as fast as I could. Right?
Yep.
That's not that may be a strategy for some. It's probably not that effective to an extent. I actually have I have a challenge. So I'm gonna put a challenge to you, Matt, and to our listeners. So here's the challenge.
Here it is.
So when you go to a networking event, and if you've got business cards like Matt talked about, go in with business cards. And let's say you walk in with 20 business cards. And you want to be able to know how many you walked in with. And here comes the challenge. You are not allowed to give a business card unless somebody asks you for a business card.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's hands down.
So, because if you're just giving somebody a business card without them asking for it, what's going to happen? That business card is going to go in that round basket that I've got next to my desk.
Absolutely.
If you keep enough curiosity with someone that they ask you, "Hey, Matt, I want to get to know you. Can I have your business card?"
Right.
Now that business card is going to go into their spreadsheet, like you said, having that game plan, right? They're going to be able to reach out to you. So the challenge is when you walk in and realize when you walk out that evening, count how many business cards you have left. And if you have a full stack, that may mean that you weren't connecting with people properly.
Absolutely. Yeah, you need to make that connection first. That's a must-have. Absolutely. And I may not wait until, personally, maybe this is a little bit of an amendment, I may not wait till they specifically ask me for a business card, but I will wait for sure until there's some sort of follow-up activity that we've previously discussed that has to happen, because I'm here to solve a problem. I'm here to help them.
Absolutely.
Or maybe I'm here to talk about their services or their business. Okay.
But you're not just walking by someone, "Hey, how are you?" and then handing them a business card and then going on to the next person.
Right. It should not be the person you lead with. Absolutely.
There's conversation going on. There's an element of maybe mutual benefit. Right. How can, this is someone that I want to connect with, and, I want to, develop that relationship a little bit. It's not just the flyby where you're walking down the road just handing out business cards and you've not had any element of conversation with them.
I had this idea, and I come up with business ideas all the time, both for my podcast and because of my crazy entrepreneurial brain. One of them was to create a business card gun, because it would do exactly what you're telling us not to do, but it'd be so much fun to be able to shoot your business cards across the room, making it rain. Here's my card. Oh, you need a card? You're 30 feet away. No problem. Bam. And that would just be a fun device, and terribly inappropriate, but fun. That just kind of defines my whole personality.
I'll tell you, that would make you memorable, though, at a network.
You would get a lot of attention for sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah. When you go to that sporting event and the cheerleaders are down on the floor, and they're shooting up what are those, the t-shirt cannons?
They have the t-shirt cannons. Yeah. Or you go to some, nightclub or something. Somebody has one of those making it rain guns with all the money shooting out.
Absolutely. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that.
Let the money rain.
Right. Yeah. Don't do that. Well, I mean, it sounds like an endorsement. We're telling you not actually to do that. But it would be fun and funny.
So Matt, we're coming to a close. I mean, you and I could spend an hour, and we'll probably, once we get off, we'll probably even chat a little bit more.
Oh, definitely.
But one of the things that I love to ask our our guest. And I don't know if you remember Columbo. Do you remember Columbo?
Oh, I love Columbo. Yeah, I got one more question.
Exactly. When we get ready to walk out the
walk away. Yeah.
So for our final thought, if you're going to leave a final thought with our listeners on this topic of outside networking,
yes,
what will you leave us with today?
So I'm going to leave you with this. Going to other networking events is the best way to be a strong networking partner for your chapter. And one of the agendas that I think that you should adopt that will help you get your best ROI with the giver's gain mentality is to go to a networking event with the thought of, how can I find referrals for my chapter at this event?
Ooh, I like that a lot.
And it's going to be amazing. You're actually going to find a lot more for yourself, more than for yourself probably, for your other chapters. And it's going to make you feel really good. It's going to make, of course, your chapter members feel really good, but it's also going to make the person that you're meeting at your networking event that you're sending those referrals to feel really good, because it's not like you're talking about your business and what I do. It can be, oh, you know what? I've got somebody I meet with on a regular basis, and they do this exact thing that I think can really help you out. Could I give you an introduction to that person? They feel like you're doing them a favor because you're sending a referral to one of your fellow networking chapter mates at your chapter, and you're helping solve a problem. Now you're going to be seen as a hero to the person that you're referring to, and now you have their attention. Now they're on your network. Now you can start talking about your business, or at least they're going to know about you for when their need arises for your business. It is a win-win-win-win-win all around for everybody involved to have that giver's gain mentality at your networking events for your fellow chapter members.
And who knows, out of it, you actually may end up gaining a new BNI a member into the chapter, right? Referral partner that you can invite in to meet your team, your chapter, your fellow BNI members.
That has happened several times to me. Lots of visitors and even a few members to our chapter have come from the other networking events that I've been to. I mean, you have to think about it. They're here to network too. They're here because they have that networking mentality. And if they don't already know about BNI and you're the person to tell them about it, it's going to be a natural transition to you and your chapter. And if that category is open, boom, send them that text invite on the app, and or get them to come and visit your chapter. You're going to find a lot of great interactions along those lines as well.
Matt, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here with me, joining us, sharing with our audience. You truly are the serial entrepreneur.
Thank you.
I know that you're out there networking, building relationships, building businesses. Merchant services, I know, is not your only business. It's one of a handful that you're succeeding at very well. So thank you for joining us. I'm looking forward to having you back. And there's some other key topics that I know that you and I are passionate about and be able to chat about as well.
Oh, I love to talk. You can tell already. I'm a talker. I could talk all day long. So as often as you'll have me, I'll be here. And I love sharing my experiences. I love learning new things. So I'd be glad to come back. And I really appreciate you having me here today. It's been a great experience.
And maybe the next time we'll each have a bowl of cereal and chat and have a bowl of cereal as well.
Now we're talking. All right. We're going to plan ahead on that one. There we go.
Thanks again. And for our listeners, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to having you back with us next week with another amazing, wonderful guest. Hope you have a great day and enjoy the new term, the new quarter, whenever you're listening to this podcast. Make sure whatever you're listening to, you're getting everything out of it. And who knows, maybe you're listening to this on your way to a networking event. I hope you learned some things today and have a great day. Thanks again, Matt.
See you later.
This episode of the BNI San Diego podcast has been brought to you by Cruise Productions, a San Diego-based video production company and proud BNI member. You can find us at the intersection where business and creativity meet, or online at cruiseproductionsinc.com.